Hello, Seaport. This is Dan in Bristol. You got me? Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Dan in Bristol, we got you.
Dan.
Primetime Deion Sanders, he wanted that job years ago. If he were the coach and they had a 12-0 record, they'd be in the playoffs.
Oh, you're saying the buzz, the juice.
The buzz, the juice. It matters in college football. I didn't say it's fair. I didn't say it's right, but it's true. That's right.
The blasphemy. You are speaking on this set to these esteemed people. Let me say one thing. I am going to put together a committee.
Yes.
I'm going to get Rex Ryan, Mike Shanahan, Marv Levy, Bill Parcells. We're going to put together a committee and let them choose the 14 best, the ones they like best, and let those be the teams that wind up. Come on! No, it is not.
I'm not saying stupid stuff in this studio.
There is an objective way they measure these teams in college football. It is called strength of record. They put all these metrics into a computer, and the team whose strength of record was third was Florida State. Number 3. Okay. What they accomplished was third best of all the teams in the country. So unless we've decided to turn this into figure skating, the only way to determine who was a better figure skater, you or you, is by letting someone subjectively say, you did it better than you did it. In football, we have criteria that have been established ahead of time.
There's rules, Stephen A.
Can I respond?
No.
Yes.
First of all,
we got rules. The future is so bright. It is the sun in Green Bay, and somehow this Packers organization has gone from Brett Favre, don't sue us, to Aaron Rodgers, and now seemingly this dude, who's poised in the pocket, has weapons that can dance.
like that.
But when you watch this team, I personally have to say, all right, seems like Guthrie knew what they were doing. LaFleur's never lost a game in December. He's 16-0. All of a sudden, the season's getting a little bit easier.
Look, man, that damn Jordan Love looking good. I didn't expect that.
You may know Jim Harbaugh better than I do, but I know him a little. He was the quarterback of the Bears when I covered them in the 90s. And I happened to run into Jim. We were at a funeral about a year and a half ago.
Rest in peace.
And we got to talking. Now, I want to make it very clear. We were not talking about a coaching vacancy. We were not talking about him leaving Michigan. Nothing. We were just talking about how great the young quarterback play is in the National Football League. He spent 5 minutes telling me that he thinks that Justin Herbert is the best of all of them. He loves Herbert. Take that for what you will. I do not think that Harbaugh will be back at Michigan next year. I'm not sure what the circumstances are that will cause his departure, but whether they beat Alabama or not, whether they win the championship or not, I do not think he is going to be back at Michigan next year based on all that I think is coming down the road with the NCAA with them. If I'm Chicago, I'm doing it, but they're a long way away. If I'm the Chargers, I'm doing it, and they're close. I mean, that team is not that far away, I think, from being a legitimate contender.
This is like standard operating procedure on the sideline whenever a fight takes place. Now, I'm not saying it's right or it's wrong, and I assume just because I got a chance to meet Big Dom one time, and I was walking down a tunnel, Big Dom walking this way on a tunnel, massive dome, kind of got a little bit of a ball, great fade on him, knew he was a Paisan, just didn't know what or who he was. And I started looking into Big Dom. Big Dom wants no problems. Big Dom just wants everything's gravy. Hey, everything's cool. Let's move along. Let's move along. That's his job. I think that is his actual title. Hey, let's just settle this. And I like that they have a budding rivalry, but I think the Niners players, if they ever meet Big Dom, would be big Dom fans. Yeah. And on the flip side, Big Dom probably incredibly holds in high regards Greenlaw smacking him in the mouth, too. That's something Big Dom probably respects. We got all black for the funeral. Then there's some super high fashion guys. That is Purdy. That's who Purdy is. He's now the favorite to win the MVP. Good for you. Mr. Irrelevant. 2 years later.
Sunday morning, Jalen Hurts plus 150, Brock Purdy plus 900.
And then what?
Purdy just walked in, put his big nuts out.
All right. Yeah, that is what he did.
Okay, yeah.
That is, yeah.
You know where I was going.
No, I did not, but he did, and he has. I'm done with the conversations of this guy could do this, this guy could do this. They're going to compare him to all the greats real soon. Let's take a trip to journalism town. In this particular studio, a lot of sports journalism takes place. Real stories are told. Hard-hitting questions are asked. The go of the sports goes as this particular studio goes. And joining me now for an exclusive sit-down interview is a four-time NFL MVP, current quarterback of the New York Jets, Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah. Attaboy,
Aaron. Aaron.
Trying to be Roy Firestone right now, or what?
Barbara Walters, mostly. That's the thought. Look at how intimate this is.
Incredible.
Okay, we got a camera here, 2-shot. We got a 1-shot right here. You have a 1-shot there. Let's get to the main.
Where's my 1-shot? Here?
Oh! Aaron, when you speak, just act like that camera's not even on you. Incredible. No, because you're talking to me, not talking to the people. This is just us chatting. I have to ask. There is a growing narrative across society even that you did not tear your Achilles. Here we are watching you walk your handsome ass into this studio down Pier 17. On the sidelines, we see you moving and we see you throwing. When are we ever going to find out the truth about your fake torn Achilles?
That's how you wanted to start this whole thing out, huh?
Journalism.
This show's losing that shit.
No!
We used
This
to make
is
it
journalism.
good. You know?
This is journalism.
One trip to New York, and this is where you go.
Whoa, this is your town. Why do you think people think you didn't tear your Achilles, Mr. Rogers?
I'm just trying to do something no one's ever done before. When that happens, it can't possibly, in the collection of the impossible, ever be the reality. I'm proud of people. You know, there was a time a few years ago where anybody who had any ideas outside of the mainstream narrative and the normal thought process were called the C word.
C word.
Now, if we know the history of the word conspiracy and
That's the C word.
conspiracy,
I did not know.
conspiracy theory. It's
Journalism. Remember, we got the low camera shot. We
really got a
chairs.
one shot here for this one. Maybe I should talk directly to the camera. But
Thank you.
I respect everybody's opinion about it, however misguided and wrong they may be.
Zach Wilson, in your relationship with him, very close seemingly.
I love Zach, yeah.
Did you talk to him about him saying, I don't want to play football here?
I will say this, when you have sources, right, that's always an interesting thing. You can go down a whole rabbit hole with actual sources, made up sources. Why is someone willing to be a source? What are they gaining out of that? On and on and on. But when you use sources, whether intentional or unintentional, try to assassinate someone's character like that report does for Zach, I have a real hard time with that.
So you're saying that that was an effort to maybe make Zach look like a worse human than he potential people already view?
How can he not read it any other way? I mean, you're basically saying that this kid is waiting on the team and doesn't want to play and has given the middle finger to the organization. Now listen, I don't want to speak for him because he's going to get a chance this week to speak and I'm going to let him speak. I'll tell you that I love the kid and I've spent a lot of time with him. I think he's an amazing young man and he is young. He's gone through a lot of shit in the last 3 years and he's got every right to be frustrated and disappointed about it. I think he's done a good job of standing up and taking accountability this year. If that's journalism now, if you're going to use sources and whoever that, I want to say the F word now.
You can't. We're doing journalism.
Whoever that person is that thinks it's okay, number one, to talk to anybody like that, I don't understand what you get out of that, number one. But number two, what is your impetus? What is your motivation to try and bury someone like that? And that's a problem with the organization. We need to get to the bottom of whatever this is coming from and put a stop to it privately. Is that really what you want to be about? You want to be about using someone in the media to leak stuff to in order for what? To get them to put your name out there for a job? Or if you're a player, to get you a write-up? I think it's chicken shit at its core and I think it has no place in a winning organization to be a source on, especially not if you're going to assassinate somebody's character. And especially not when it's someone that I really love and care about, like Zach Wilson.
I feel about Florida State, those boys.
That was my team growing up. I think they should have got in.
Over?
And Texas.
Okay.
Nice. Oh, nice. Yeah. Nice.
Hello, Seaport. This is Dan in Bristol. You got me? Check 1 2. Check 1 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan in Bristol, we got you.
Dan.
Check 2 3. Check 2 3. Dan in Bristol.
Important.
We all had that.
Yeah, we all had that. Important check at 150.
Awesome. Dan, we got you, Dan.
Go ahead, Dan.
Don't know what's coming on next, but Dan's on top of it. Can we get Dan a raise? Was that on air or just in our ears?
Hopefully on air.
That was on air.
Oh, nice.
Are we off?
No, Dan was on. We're on. You're about to give a good answer, I think, about the city of New York. Barbara Walters would have pressed a little bit. Rest in peace.
No, she's still on house arrest.
Kicking.
Sorry, what?
House arrest.
For
Martha
someone
Stewart?
else.
You're thinking of Martha Stewart.
Oh, there it is.
She's not on house arrest, by the way. She did her time. She's out. Barbara Walters still doing it. Hell yeah.
Now I
Thank
don't
you,
know.
Barbara. I thought of you wherever, Barbara.
I'm getting a...
Barbara's dead.
Barbara's
okay,
dead.
rest
She
in
had a
peace.
hell of a run.
How'd she die? How'd she
a hell of a run.
How'd she die?
I want to let her family know, although we did not know if she was still with us because her presence is always with us. I thought of her as I was walking over there to do journalism. Barbara Walters died at her home in Manhattan, right here, on December 30th, 2022.
Oh.
She had been suffering from, her last words were no regrets, had a great life. Hell yeah.
That's awesome.
Hell yeah.
Are we really? Don't do it.
She had dementia in her last years, and right before she died, she said, God, my life was sick. Did she really know? Or okay, I'm just asking.
Jesus.
I learned it from the New Heights podcast with Jason and Travis Kelce. Roger Goodell is looking to ban the tush push.
Listen, ban it. I really, at this point, I don't care. I'm over the discussion about it.
He added the fair catches in for kickoffs this year because that was basically his instituted rule. We assume if Roger Goodell gets behind something, it's going to happen. So the brotherly shove, we need to enjoy it for the rest of this year because I think it's going to be gone, AQ.
It seems Roger wants to keep banning a lot of the things that make football good. Doesn't it seem that way? Doesn't it?
I don't understand why we keep trying to mess with this game that has been the same way for hundreds of years, maybe 100 years, whatever it is. But it's
The league's over 100. Yeah,
Back
so
it's
game's
over
been
100,
around a
right?
long time.
Yeah.
Jesus ran slants.
Yeah, he did. Oh,
Oh, yeah.
you should have seen his
Unreal.
big puddle on the field that the defense had to go up and around. He just boom and then right across the top of that puddle. What was old buddy's name that hung out with him a bunch? Judas, bad guy.
He was Ray Lewis
John the
before
Baptist was his guy.
So John the Baptist has that Tua accuracy. TJ said that the NFL's against
I
them.
don't know. The NFL has something going against me, so I don't want to talk any more negatively towards them.
Yes.
I don't know what I did, but I'll leave it at that.
He had a half sack taken away in this game that I truly do not understand. I've been in the NFL for 12 years, and I've argued sacks, and I've had sacks taken away. I've had sacks given, so I know very well what the criteria is for getting a sack and for getting a half sack. And the half sack that they took away from him this week was truly bizarre. People can say stats don't matter or whatever, but you know
When
how,
your legacy
like,
is dependent
when
upon
you-
it. This is not the first time this has happened with TJ, you're saying?
No, it's not. I think that's part of the reason he feels a little certain type of way. Hall of Famer. I think, Mike, the consistency, the level at which he plays at, the ability to do it over years. He had Brady for a couple of years, but it hasn't necessarily been with the most elite level of all time. Crazy thing about Mike is that he just doesn't get the same hype as you feel like he deserves because he's kind of like, he's reserved. He doesn't do anything like crazy flashy. He's not out there a ton. And I think that he is somehow, for a guy who's had 1,000 yards every single year of his career, he's underrated, and he shouldn't be. He should be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I think he will be. I think we should appreciate his game because it's pretty special what he's doing at the highest level.
10 straight. That's crazy. Health-wise, how do you last? Let alone quarterback and change and everything like that.
I like the colorful courts. I'm a big fan of those because it was sort of a last-minute initiative. They were somewhat cookie cutter. I mean, teams had color options. There's a similar look to all of them. I think next year we could have a lot of fun with teams saying, here are the parameters, but do the Louis Vuitton court or whatever, you know, do some.
Could you imagine a Skims court next year? Adam Silver in his tights from one side of the court to the other.
You need a Skims deal.
No.
They got tank tops.
I read on the internet this morning that you were the one that allowed the timeout to happen last night by LeBron to Austin Reeves because that won the game for the Lakers. I heard you were on the phone while it was happening and said, that was a timeout, was it not? That's what I heard you do.
Truth be told, I was watching the game, lying in bed. I don't have any buzzers or buttons or anything that had any impact on me. And I'd only say that's what is known at the league office as a very close call.
Very close.
It was a close call.
Yeah, very, very, very close, yeah. The in-season tournament, the NBA Cup, whenever it was first announced, I think a lot of people thought it was a sham, a fugazi. What is this? Kevin Durant was interviewed after the game.
I wasn't a huge fan, but now I'm excited about the in-season tournament. I'm pissed that we're not going to Vegas to try to win this thing, but it definitely made me a fan. It felt like a playoff game.
One thing that we knew from the beginning, it was so interesting to hear Kevin there, because when people asked me, how would you know if it was successful? Of course, you can look at attendance, you can look at ratings and social media chatter, but I said, it'll be measured in terms of the enthusiasm of the players. Will they take it seriously? Will they compete? Will they play, as opposed to load management in these regular season games? Will they care about winning? Will they care about going to Vegas? Will they care about the prize money?
Are we getting money now? We got some money?
In December. Not for that 500, I ain't.
It seems like Katie just checked off the whole list right there.
Bechtold.
Yeah, you and Ed Bechtold, disabled Vietnam vet, guy who didn't get a chance to see a triple overtime win for the Pittsburgh Penguins because the power was out. Here's him talking to local WTAE about it.
So I hear I missed 3 overtimes.
Is that right?
But we did win. That's all that matters to me.
You bummed out you didn't get to see it?
I'm bummed out. I'm bummed out. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd say.
The biggest impact.
It came to his house for this?
As far as I'm
Just
concerned,
need to get a little quote.
Yep.
Not even the Power, just the hockey game. The Power could have went out after the hockey game. But missing that 3 overtimes upset me a little bit.
Hey, let's get Ed to a game, Pence.
Love you, Ed.
This guy
Thank
fucking
you for your
missed
service,
that's
Ed.
2 games.
Yeah.
3 periods and 3 overtimes. That's 2 games.
Get him on the bench.
We need Ed. What's that?
Is that Donato's
Sorry, what?
station?
Yeah.
What was it? What was it?
WTAE.
Joe Donardo? How do they know to come to his house?
Because he's bummed out.
Because everyone knows bummed out.
Ed Bechtold was telling everybody in town how bummed out he was. And
Exactly.
he said, we got to talk to fucking Ed and see what he was so bummed out about. Then he learned he's a disabled veteran. And they're like, you know what? We've been doing it right since the days of Denaro. We need to give Ed Bechtold a fucking platform.
Exactly.
And then
One
he
of his
said, I'm bummed out about it.
Yeah, one of his neighbors called, said, hey, listen, Ed's fucking bummed out. Get over there and cheer him up, please. Get a quote.
You know that guy that said, we're still number 1 around here.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
Just a couple years ago after a fire and ashes got on his front yard.
Barry Pangor.
Yeah, and he said, if this is what you got to deal with to live in Pittsburgh, so be it. We're still number 1 out here. We got another one of those. And Ed Bechtold.
Awesome.
You heard the ref, first down.
Yep.
That's 15-yard penalty on defense. Another first down. We need more of this.
Yes.
We need more random interviews around Pittsburgh all the time.
I agree.
Please, God, can we make that happen?
I associate with Ed more than I do Barry because Barry was a little too positive. I like being bummed out.
You know what I'm not bummed out about?
What's that?
We get an opportunity to learn about the fat boys on the football field.
Love it.
But they're not fat anymore. These dudes are just properly jocked and they're big.
Yeah, and if you call them fat too, they do get bummed out.
No, they understand, I think. They're the only group of people that just get called fat and have to be big boned to do your profession, which is a shame. Because a lot of them, don't love eating.
Sure.
A lot of them don't like being considered overweight.
Right.
A lot of people try to lose as much weight as possible at those positions as soon as they're done, and they actually lose half their body.
Yeah.
You've seen it numerous. Yonda.
Oh, man.
So skinny.
Russell Okung.
Al Faneca.
Coach Jeff.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh-oh.
You want to talk about being bummed out.
Something just.
Wait a minute.
Oh, wait. Did you guys just see when it was from?
No. Don't stop it.
Sean Kingston?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh. When did he die?
I saw it below that clip.
Oh, no.
I believe it was this summer.
Thank you for your service, Ed.
The clip from was May or last May.
Mikey and Big Bob would know. Currently doing their stuff a bus for the 20th year, finding toys for the great kids of Pittsburgh. That's Mikey and Big Bob doing that, obviously. And Tall Kathy, appreciate that.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Now, Tony,
They were the ones that had to break the news to the world that Ed Bechtold is no longer bummed out.
My phone's been getting blowed up from people who didn't get in as if I'm responsible for that. Look, we've been on the other side of this. We've been on the outside looking in. We've been the team that didn't get in. We've been the fifth place team. So we kind of know how it feels. And I actually feel bad about it because there really are a lot of teams this year who could make an argument to say we should be there.
It's a flawed system to begin with whenever it comes to potential fairness of champions. We're all happy to get to 12 team next year.
They showed me what you did before the game when you made your pick. I mean, you have to be crazy to do something like that.
It was in that moment I realized you saw that. The conversation in my head was, oh, does he like that or not? I was very intrigued to hear your thoughts.
I appreciate it, man. I really do.
What's that coming down the track? It's the mean machine in the red and black. Ain't nothing finer in the land. Drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Go dogs. Go dogs. Oh, dogs. Sick them.
Wow.
Give me Alabama to break.
What happened just now? Whoa. What just happened? Unbelievable. Do I have to pick?
Yeah, man. Your best golfer on earth. This is a massive swing for this Live Golf Tour. What was the determining factor, you think, John?
I'm not going to duck the question and I'll say it. Listen, obviously the money is very, very nice. I'm not going to give you the whole spiel, okay?
Yeah.
I don't
Way
play
to
golf
go.
for money, but as a father, as a husband, as a family man, I do owe it to my family to set them up the best I can. And luckily I have that possibility. So yeah, that was a big part of it.
A lot of numbers being reported. Are any of them accurate?
I'm not going to comment on that.
Congrats. This is something that happens every single game. Before games, the coaches will talk to the refs and they'll say, hey, our film study tells us that number 21, he holds a lot whenever we're doing goes. So just keep an eye out for it, please. Just like a little seed you're kind of dropping in there. Special teams, it happens on a very regular basis because there's minute things that are against the rules. You can't really tell unless they're spotlighted by a coach or by a special teams coordinator. This is a Bill Belichick special. So for Kuntz, here's a snap from earlier in the year. Look how he looks back. All right, we all set, goes down, snaps the ball. It was 4th and 3. So any team that has less than 5 is obviously going to attempt some little tomfoolery. So they were going to go on a double set. So the Patriots had a read on this. Boom, his head right there. That was a move by Christian Kuntz to try to make them jump. Like, that is exactly what that was. And if it wasn't for Bill Belichick telling them about this, I don't think the refs call it. But as soon as this happens, Bill Belichick reminds the refs, I assume, Joe Judge reminds the ref and says, hey, he's not allowed to move his head abruptly before the snap. That is not his normal snap. That is an attempt to draw us off sides. That's not legal. And if you look in the rule book, it's not.